I'd been with Jack for 6 years, and he was always cold and distant with everyone. But when I came home early today, I found a woman who'd just showered in the house. She was wearing his shirt, and he was gently blow-drying her hair. They were both stunned to see me. "Don't be strangers," I said, smiling calmly. "This is your home now." With that, I turned and walked out without looking back. That day, I ended my business trip early, hoping to surprise Jack. I didn't expect to be the one surprised. Jack had stomach problems, and recently the pain had been unbearable. I planned to come home and make him some herbal medicine. I quietly opened the door with my key, only to find the house brightly lit. Jack was already back. I called out his name, but got no response, only the drone of a hairdryer from the bathroom. I followed the sound and froze in the doorway. Jack wasn't alone. There was a woman I didn't know in the bathroom. She was wearing nothing but Jack's oversized white shirt, her bare thighs and wet curly hair strikingly apparent. Jack was in his pajamas, holding the hairdryer, his other hand gently lifting her hair. They were in an intimate pose, as if he were holding her close. In the mirror, Jack had a faint smile, his eyes soft, a tenderness I'd never seen before. I'd been married to Jack for 5 years. He was always reserved, and while he treated me differently, he always kept a certain distance. I always thought I was special to him, but now it seemed I was just another outsider. I leaned against the door, my mind racing, but I quickly composed myself. I tapped lightly on the door. "Excuse me," I said. "Sorry to interrupt." My voice broke the silence. The woman gasped, and Jack turned his head, his eyes wide with surprise. "Why are you back early?" Jack asked, frowning. I sneered, crossing my arms. "What, did I ruin your fun? Are you already finished, or just getting started?" Jack's face darkened. "Luna, what nonsense are you talking about?" I threw my suitcase on the floor with a loud thud. "Then explain it," I demanded. "What exactly are you doing? Looks like you two were getting cozy." Amanda stepped out from behind Jack. She looked a little wronged. "Jack and I aren't what you think. We're just friends." I scoffed. "If you insist on saying that, then please take your hand off my husband's back." The woman blushed with shame and anger, quickly pulling away from Jack. "How can you say something like that?" I sneered. "What kind of words? Nasty or vulgar?" "You didn't say them, but you did the deeds." The woman was so angry she wanted to lunge forward, but Jack stopped her. "Shut up." Jack pulled me out of the bathroom and into the bedroom, his voice tinged with a loss of control. "She's an old college friend. She just got back to the country and doesn't have a place to stay right now. She's staying here tonight." "Luna, don't be unreasonable." I looked at him, disappointed. "That's what you have to say." Jack was silent. I understood. My expectations of him were nothing but wishful thinking. "Understood," I said. "Carry on." I turned to leave, but Jack grabbed me. "Where are you going?" I stared at him, startled. "What, you want a threesome?" Jack gripped my hand tightly. "You don't need to leave. Just stay here." The woman's eyes lit up, but she feigned hesitation. "Wouldn't that be awkward, you and Ms. Luna?" Jack cut her off. "Don't worry about it. If I say stay, you stay." I didn't want to listen anymore. I picked up my suitcase and left. The woman changed into a long dress, her eyes red-rimmed, yet she forced a smile. "Jack, I should go. I've caused you trouble." She handed Jack's shirt to me. "Ms. Luna, you misunderstood. Here's Jack's shirt back." I stepped back, letting the shirt fall to the floor. Trash naturally belongs in the trash can. Jack's gaze was sharp as he stared at me, finally saying, "You don't need to go. Just stay here." I had nothing more to say. I left that so-called home. With my luggage, I hurried downstairs. The cold wind hit me, and I shivered, then felt a wave of nausea. I bent over, dry heaving, my heart heavy with unspoken emotions. I felt exhausted. The calmness I'd held on to shattered instantly. It was too absurd. I never thought Jack would betray me. He was always so composed and disciplined. His life had been irreproachable for years. I thought that even if he changed his mind, he would end things with me first, that he wouldn't string two people along. I thought it was a matter of character. But reality hit me hard. Jack, what exactly are you doing? And who is that woman? With these questions, I went back to the old house. I remembered there was a photo album there, a birthday gift Jack received in college. It was full of his pictures, some of him alone, some with others. It was a thoughtful gift. I once asked him who gave it to him. He only said a college friend. I didn't press it at the time because Jack's reaction was calm. The old house wasn't far, a 20-minute drive. I preferred it here compared to the new house. This used to be Jack's and my home. We lived here for 2.5 years before moving after we got married. Whenever I was upset, I would come here. It helped me relax. My heart heavy, I walked into the house and quickly found the photo album in the storage room. The Jack in the photos was young and vibrant. Many pictures looked like candid shots because he was always shown in profile. In the few frontal shots, Jack was wearing a graduation gown, his graduation photo. He was pictured with different people, men and women. I examined each photo carefully. Suddenly, my gaze lingered on an unusual picture. Two people leaning close, her arm tight against Jack's, her lips curved up, her body slightly tilted, while the girl smiled brightly, her head resting gently on his shoulder. Despite some changes in appearance, I recognized her instantly. On the back of the photo were two names, Jack, Amanda, and in the middle, a small heart drawn. I was woken by the construction noise upstairs. I hadn't slept all night and woke up with a heavy head. It took a while before I realized I was in the old house. It was too late last night, so I spent the night on the sofa. Then, I noticed someone sitting not far away, staring intently at me. It was Jack. I wasn't surprised he was here. Once before, I ran away from home after a fight with him, and he found me in less than an hour. I asked him how he knew I was here. He said, "Where else would you go?" He knew I had nowhere else, because I was an orphan, and Jack gave me a home. Someone asked him why he didn't sell the old house. He said, "Keep it. Someone can hide out here when they're unhappy." My feelings for Jack were complicated, a mix of love and gratitude. I thought we could live out our lives together peacefully. I sighed and went to the bathroom to quickly wash up. Jack had bought breakfast, and I ate it without pretense. After eating, I asked Jack, "Her name is Amanda, your ex-girlfriend?" Jack replied, "Yes." I looked up at him. "Jack, what are you doing? Bringing your ex-girlfriend home, letting her wear your shirt, blow-drying her hair. Are you putting on a show of rekindled love for me?" Jack said, "Believe it or not, there's nothing between us." I shook my head. "I don't believe it." Jack's face was grim. "She slept at home last night, and I stayed at a hotel. Here's the proof. If you need it, I can get the surveillance footage. Nothing happened between us. That's the truth." I didn't look at the receipt on the table. If Jack dared to show it, it wouldn't be fake. But I asked him, "She stayed at home, you stayed at a hotel?" "Jack, what does that mean?" Jack said, "She's not used to hotels, and it's not safe for a girl to stay in a hotel alone." I shot back, "Did she tell you that, or are you just being considerate?" Jack was getting angry. "Talk to me properly. Don't be sarcastic." My heart was heavy, and I couldn't hold back anymore. "I want to talk properly too, but did you talk properly to me? Not used to hotels, not safe for a girl. I stay in hotels every time I go on a business trip. How come I never heard you worrying about me? What's different about Amanda? Or is she special to you?" Jack seemed stung. He suddenly stood up. "I already went out and stayed somewhere else. I already told you nothing happened. What more do you want?" I felt dizzy and grabbed the table, shouting with all my strength, "Divorce. I want a divorce." Jack's face changed. "Shut up. Luna, take those words back." He spoke almost through clenched teeth. I just stood there looking at him. He closed his eyes, clenched his fists, and when he opened them again, the loss of control in his eyes was gone. You want a divorce? Impossible. Jack's words were decisive. After that, we fell into a cold war. I stayed at the old house. I didn't go looking for him, and he didn't come looking for me. I didn't know what he was thinking. I was waiting to calm down, calm enough to handle this most efficiently. One day, Jack's assistant, Chloe, who was also my former university peer, called me. Luna, she said, are you and Mr. Jack fighting? She had worked under Jack for years, and we'd kept in touch. What's wrong? I asked. She hesitated for a few seconds. Mr. Jack had a lot to drink at a work event tonight. I was going to call you, but a strange woman picked Mr. Jack up, driving Mr. Jack's car. After a moment of silence, I sent her a photo of Amanda. Is it her? Yes. Her voice was filled with concern. Luna, are you okay? I replied, I'm fine. It seemed filing for divorce needed to be put on the agenda. I was a person of action. The next morning, I found a lawyer to draft the divorce agreement. Our assets were separate, so the agreement was just a formality. At the office, Jack paused when he saw me, but quickly regained his poker face. This is the office, he said. We can talk about anything. At home. I would certainly go home, but not now. I put the divorce agreement in front of him. Sign it. We can go to the county clerk's office while we have time. Jack stared at the agreement for a long time. You came here just for this? I didn't bother answering the obvious question. Jack simply tore up the divorce agreement. Didn't I say divorce is impossible? I pretended not to hear and took out another copy. He tore it up again. I kept taking them out, and he kept tearing them. By the 12th copy, Jack's face was dark. Are you sure? He asked. I sneered. No, I'm just messing around here. He slammed the divorce agreement down on the table, signed his name. Let's go to the county clerk's office. We drove separately to the county clerk's office. Luckily, it wasn't crowded, and it was our turn quickly. The clerk asked, Are you sure about this? I nodded. Yes. Jack's gaze fell on me. And you? The clerk asked. Are you sure? I looked at him. He shifted his gaze, his tone cold. Yes. All right, the clerk said. I'll register you now. You can come back in a month to finalize the divorce decree. I watched the clerk process the paperwork and felt a sense of relief. Then Jack spoke. Wait. What is it? The clerk asked. Jack looked at me. Luna, are you sure you want a divorce? Yes, I replied. Jack suddenly stood up, knocking his chair over with a loud crash. Luna, you're cruel. With that, he turned and left. What's going on? The clerk asked. I was stunned too. I ran after him. Jack, stop right there. He acted as if he didn't hear me and kept walking. I jogged up and grabbed him. What do you mean? Jack's entire body was rigid. I'll say it one last time, Luna. I won't divorce you. I was furious. What do you mean? What do you mean you won't divorce me? Are you playing games with me? Jack took a deep breath. Luna, how long are you going to keep this up? Leaving home and demanding a divorce over something unfounded. Do you think this is fun? You're exhausting me. I looked at Jack quietly. I'm not making a scene. Jack, I'm serious about filing for divorce. Why? Jack looked completely bewildered. Just because of Amanda? There's nothing between us. Why won't you believe me? How can I believe you? I asked. Tell me where Amanda is living now. Did you arrange it? Does she not have a car, so you gave her one? Why did she pick you up when you were drunk? Where did you go after she picked you up? What happened? I shook my head. Honestly, I don't even need to ask all that. Purely, if I hadn't come back, what would have happened between you two? What would have happened? I was agitated. I had a prearranged schedule at the hotel. If you don't believe me, you can ask. I don't believe you. This was the second time I'd said it. Jack, I don't believe you. Now, nothing you say, no evidence matters. I don't want to dig into what you did, or what you both did. I completely distrust you now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Life hadn't been fair to me. I had to learn to protect myself. I wouldn't let anything, because no one was pulling me back. I was an orphan. The man. My biological mother only discovered she was pregnant after my father died. She didn't want to have the baby, but my grandparents begged her to have me. They gave my biological mother all of my father's inheritance and compensation. This money was exchanged for my upbringing. After I was born, I was raised by my grandparents. I have no love or hate for my biological mother, because those are useless emotions that only bring me pain, so I let her go. Later, my grandparents passed away one after another, and I became an orphan. I took a month to process all the emotions, then started life anew. Later, someone offered $100,000 for the old house my grandparents left behind. I agreed to the offer to sell the old house. Others said I was foolish, that it was a losing deal, and that I was being taken advantage of because I had no adults in my family. But precisely because I had no one to rely on, I knew I couldn't keep that house. If I couldn't keep it, I had to know when to let go. I needed money. I needed to study. I needed to live. So I sold the house and left the place where I grew up. Now, facing Jack, he didn't immediately explain, and I no longer believed anything he said after that. I didn't want to become paranoid, didn't want to waste myself like this. Let's get divorced, I said. Don't make it any uglier than it needs to be. Impossible. Jack's attitude was equally resolute. When negotiation failed, I chose to file for divorce. Unexpectedly, the day after I filed the divorce petition, Jack put economic pressure on me, threatening to terminate the partnership with our company. Jack and I met through company business. I had just graduated from university and started a business with a few classmates. We were full of passion but faced the harsh reality. We lacked funds and connections, no one was willing to invest. Just as we were about to give up, a company offered to partner with us. We grabbed onto this lifeline, only to find it so fragile. The person in charge of that company made immoral demands. When I flatly refused, I was threatened to exploit me / threatened to put me in danger / threatened to sell me off. In despair, Jack appeared. He easily resolved the issue and established a partnership with our company. I thought Jack also had an agenda, but he always treated me with respect. I accepted his help because I truly needed it. Now, Jack was using the partnership to threaten me. I felt controlled by him, which was unbearable. I went to Jack's company and asked him, "What do you want?" Jack looked at me and said calmly, "Withdraw the divorce petition." We stood facing each other. His calmness showed his resolve. I smiled. "That's it? Fine. I'll withdraw it right away. Any other issues?" My quick response didn't satisfy Jack. He frowned. "When are you moving back in? Is that a condition, too?" I asked. Jack pressed his lips together. "Okay, I get it. I'll move today. Is that okay?" Jack threw the pen on the desk. "Get out." After I left, the smile vanished from my face. I hated being controlled. Not even by Jack. I called a company meeting to discuss changing partners. The market was big. It wasn't just Jack. Jack could terminate the partnership, and we could find new partners. But they disagreed. They were used to comfort and were afraid of change. Jack's terms were very generous. They weren't willing to take risks. They even advised me not to dwell on it, believing that a man having affairs outside the marriage was inevitable, and as long as Jack hadn't committed a fundamental error, I should forgive him. I scoffed at this, realizing it was time to leave. But before leaving, I needed to ensure my interests weren't harmed. I needed time to ensure I minimized financial loss upon leaving. I moved back home. Jack was still awake, working in the living room. I refused his request to talk and went straight into the guest room. I didn't want to touch anything in that house because it made me feel uncomfortable. I slept rough on the sofa, but woke up to find myself in bed. Jack was in the kitchen preparing breakfast. I demanded to know why he had moved me. He explained that the sheets and duvet cover were clean. I argued angrily with Jack, and he responded just as angrily. We fell back into a cold war. I was busy with work, leaving early and coming back late, barely seeing Jack. I met with some potential partners to discuss the sale of my shares. I had given the people at the company a choice, but they didn't take it. To maximize my interests, I had to find external buyers. I decided to sell the shares in pieces, ensuring the new shareholders wouldn't have decision-making power in the company. As the funds came in, I gradually withdrew from the company. The people at the company were angry about what I'd done. They came to find me, faces red, ready to have a falling out. It's not so bad this way, I said calmly. He and I were going to have a falling out sooner or later anyway, and then you won't get caught in the crossfire. Besides, weren't you secretly hoping to push me out? Their eyes flickered. That's nonsense. When have we ever thought that? My tone was flat. That's only because you were afraid of Jack. Otherwise, once this is over, who will remember who? The company matter was settled. Next was the issue between Jack and me. Unexpectedly, before I could find Jack, Amanda found me first and said she wanted to talk. I agreed. As soon as we sat down, she cut straight to the chase and asked me, "Why haven't you divorced him yet? How long do you plan to keep being involved with Jack?" I couldn't help but laugh. "What standing do you have to ask me that? Mistress? The other woman? Did Jack agree to this conversation? He's always told me you two have nothing going on. Do you understand what I mean? You don't even qualify as his mistress," I said, observing her. "Besides, it's not that I don't want a divorce, it's Jack who stubbornly refuses." "That's the best you can do?" Amanda flushed crimson with anger. "You're lying. Jack couldn't possibly not want a divorce. He doesn't like you. If it wasn't for..." She stopped abruptly. I looked at her, puzzled. If it wasn't for what? Amanda's eyes darted, and a hint of triumph appeared on her face. "Didn't you ever consider that you and Jack are from completely different worlds? Why did he suddenly appear? Why did he help you out of the blue? Luna, you don't actually think this was all a coincidence, do you? You're so naive." I asked her, "What do you mean?" Amanda raised an eyebrow. "Want to know? Then beg me." I looked at her quietly, then laughed dismissively. "Then you better not say it." I stood up to leave. "Luna, stop right there," Amanda called out urgently. I didn't stop walking. "Luna, just as I was about to push the door open." "Wait!" Amanda raised her voice. "Come back, I have something to show you." I smiled slightly and sat back down. Amanda's aggressive stance had softened. This attitude was more suitable for a conversation. My face was expressionless. She took a photo directly from her bag and handed it to me. "This is Jack and his adoptive mother." I glanced at it casually. The Jack in the photo looked about 5 or 6, thin and dark-skinned. If Amanda hadn't said anything, I would barely have recognized him. Just as I was wondering why Amanda was showing me this photo, the woman's appearance made me freeze. A long-forgotten memory suddenly surfaced. I had seen this woman before. At the bottom of my grandparents' closet back in my hometown, there was a dark red booklet with the words "marriage certificate" written on it. When I opened it, there was a photo inside with 2 people. One was my deceased father, the other was my mother, who left home. I didn't know much about Jack's family background. I only knew his parents had passed away. He had no siblings or other relatives. We were both orphans, the only difference being that he was rich and I was poor. Jack would regularly visit the cemetery to pay respects to his parents. I once offered to go with him, but he gently declined, saying it wasn't necessary. His response also made me give up the idea of taking him to meet my grandparents. Sometimes, I wondered if our way of interacting was right, but I never found an answer. I had no experience interacting with others, and no one to guide me. In the end, I could only tell myself, just let it be. With that mindset, Jack and I lived together for 5 years. And now Amanda was telling me that these 5 years were nothing but a joke. She said Jack was an orphan, a real orphan, who grew up in the orphanage. But he was very lucky. At the age of 6, he was adopted by a wealthy couple. They had no children of their own and treated him as their own, especially his adoptive moth, whose love for him was no less than for her children. His adoptive father passed away from illness when he was 12, and his adoptive mother passed away from pancreatic cancer 6 years ago. Before she died, Jack's adoptive mother told him she had another daughter, and she hoped Jack would find her and take good care of her. Amanda looked at me, a twisted smile on her face. Guess who that daughter is? My heart seized up. At that time, Jack and I were deeply in love. He suddenly broke up with me, saying he needed to fulfill his mother's dying wish. I asked him, on what grounds? You're my boyfriend. How can you just say you don't want me? You have your mother's dying wish to fulfill, but what about me? I picked up the photo. Luna, look how lucky you are. Your mother thought of you until she died. She had Jack look out for you. But what about me? Why should our love be sacrificed for your family matters? As I was leaving, Amanda called out to me. Luna, you will divorce Jack, right? Yes, I replied. But then I asked, but are you sure you want back someone who just tossed you aside? Jack, let's talk. I arranged to meet Jack at home. He was half an hour late. He loosened his tie and sat down. Talk about what? I took out the photo directly. So your adoptive mother was my biological mother. Jack's hand froze. Who gave you that? I shook my head. That's not important. Let's talk about something important, Amanda. Jack slumped back onto the sofa. I should have known. Only she had seen this photo. So what do you want to say to me? Silence. A long silence. Just when I thought Jack would remain silent, he finally spoke. From his words, I heard a more detailed account of the past. My adoptive mother was a formidable woman. She built her cosmetics brand from the ground up. Later, she met my adoptive father, and they got together. My adoptive father couldn't have children, so his adoptive mother suggested adopting one from the orphanage. And that's how they adopted me, Jack said. My greatest luck in this life was meeting them and becoming their child. But good times didn't last. My adoptive father died of illness, and my adoptive mother got cancer. He looked at me. It wasn't until then that I knew you existed. Luna, I want you to understand, she always thought of you. She never forgot you. The reason she was good to me was also to make up for you. She transferred all the guilt she felt towards you onto me. She loved you. Her biggest dying wish before she passed was for you to be okay and for you to forgive her. I'm sorry I kept it from you for so long. Listening to Jack's narration, I kept waiting for my emotions to break down or explode, but they didn't. Just calmness, an unprecedented calmness. Sigh, I uttered softly. Jack looked at me, surprised. You don't have anything else to say? After thinking for a moment, I said, then, for the sake of having the same mother, let's part ways amicably and finalize the divorce as soon as possible. Luna, Jack called my name, but stopped. After a while, he said, are you still holding a grudge against her? She's already passed away. Can't you, for the sake of the dead, forgive her? I exhaled. Not really. If I had to say anything, frankly, it feels rather unpleasant. Luna, shut up. I chuckled. Fine. What do you want to hear? I forgive her. I love her dearly. She was the best mother in the world. I'll remember her forever and be grateful to her. Satisfied? If you need me to, I can even go to her grave and say it. So, can we talk about the divorce now? Luna, I know my name. You don't need to keep reminding me. Jack suppressed his anger. I know you can't accept this right away. No rush. When you've thought it through, we can talk slowly. I waved my hand. Don't talk slowly. Talk quickly. Tell me what you want. What do you need me to do? I can even go to your adoptive mother's grave every year. Just divorce me. Please let me go. Every word I spoke to Jack, every second I spent with him, felt unbearable. It was like finding a fly in my sandwich, and only half of it was there. Luna, I won't divorce you. I promised Mother I would take good care of you. Great. The other half of the fly was swallowed. Jack, respect for the dead. I don't want to badmouth your mother. You're forcing me. Jack frowned, clearly resistant. You said your adoptive mother was formidable? She built her cosmetics brand from the ground up. Do you know where her money came from? Jack, I don't know, but I know it was my dad's life money. Do you know how cruel she was? My dad's compensation, all his income, she took every last cent. When she left, she was afraid my grandparents would stop her, so she made an excuse to take me out for a walk. She abandoned me behind the barn to buy herself time. It was winter. I almost died in that barn. Impossible, Jack denied instinctively. I continued. I don't hate her. Hating her would only waste my energy. To me, she's just an irrelevant stranger. But you keep insisting she loved me, she cared about me, she felt for me. But where was she when I was living a hard-scrabble life working the land with my grandparents? Where was she after my grandparents died and others threatened to sell me off if I didn't sell the house? Where was she when I was bullied, almost resorting to fighting someone with a knife? Where were you? My money was stolen, my tuition and living expenses, every penny gone. I almost jumped from the rooftop. Where was she? What's the point? If we don't talk about feelings, she's a stranger. If we do, she belongs in hell. Each word I spoke made Jack's face paler. I didn't know. We didn't know. Mother wanted to compensate you, Luna. She just didn't know how to face you. I scoffed. How difficult for her. She could have lived a life of ease, but instead, she had to let a grain of sand like me bother her heart. I must be truly awful. That's not what I meant. Jack desperately wanted to explain, but he was not good with words. The intense emotional fluctuations made me uncomfortable. I raised a hand to rub my temples. You people are truly something. Because you feel guilty towards me, you compensate him? Am I dead? If you feel guilty towards me, shouldn't you compensate me? She got cancer, afraid of not resting in peace, so she pushed the responsibility onto you, so she could die in peace. As for you, you had a debt of gratitude, a debt to repay, a mission to fulfill, so you married me. How unfair to me. I looked at Jack curiously. Why did you think the best compensation for me was marrying me? Did you think I couldn't get married? You should have just given me more money back then. Jack, let's get divorced. I came from her womb, and I have a birth certificate to prove I'm her daughter. It's easy. If you still don't agree, I'll have to sue you for a share of the inheritance. I said a lot that day. Jack only spoke a few words at the beginning, then just listened quietly. We both knew there was no future for us. Divorce was inevitable. I waited for Jack for 3 days. He finally agreed. This time, he drafted the divorce agreement. He gave me most of his assets, along with company shares and other things. I didn't look closely. I wasn't interested in these things. My therapist once told me my biggest problem was having no desires, no desire for anything, including money. It was easy to understand. After all, I had no one behind me and no one in front of me. He asked me, "What do you want most?" You have to find something you want most, otherwise, you won't even have the desire to survive. I thought for a long time, then told him, I want someone to love me. I worked hard, lived hard, tried to make myself better, all for someone to love me. But Jack ruined all of that. He ruined my 5 years. I hate him, but I can't hate him. I can't let him leave such a deep mark on my heart. I have to tell myself he at least helped me, no matter what. He saved me from danger. All I needed to do was let go, cut ties, and move on. This is what my therapist told me: you have to leave behind the things that drag you down, and then move forward without hesitation. Jack and I registered our divorce at the county clerk's office and got our divorce decree a month later. I decided to leave the city. The past was gone. I said I had no family. I haven't had her all these years. Turns out I haven't had anyone. Have I been living for nothing all these years? Oh, and sorry to interfere with your lives. I didn't forgive him, nor did I hate him. He was just a passerby in this terrible period of my life. He tripped me, made me fall. I brushed off the dust, got back up, and I have to keep moving forward. I'm not looking back. Real heroes never look back at explosions. Not until Luna left the city did Jack truly begin to understand her. Before, Luna was just someone he felt indebted to. Marrying her, giving her resources, giving her money, he thought that was enough. Luna was just a vague symbol, thinner than paper. He didn't see Luna making him herbal medicine, didn't see Luna trying to cheer him up, didn't see Luna's expectations, or Luna's disappointment. Letting Luna spend 5 years with his blind self was indeed unpleasant. It wasn't until the 3rd month after Luna left that Jack learned she had been seeing a therapist. The therapist refused to reveal the patient's condition, but he said, "Living is very difficult for Luna, but she's always worked hard. She's the strongest patient I've ever seen." From that day on, Jack started looking for Luna. He wouldn't disturb her. He just wanted to know if Luna was safe. A year later, he finally found Luna in a small town, but she wasn't alone. She was holding the hand of a toddler. At that moment, Jack's heart almost stopped. He booked a flight and rushed to that city overnight. He saw Luna. She was thinner and softer. Luna was surprised to see him. "Long time. Me no see," she said. For the first time, Jack felt awkward. "Long time no see," he replied. His gaze kept drifting to the child. Luna was so smart. She understood instantly. She laughed dryly. "Don't misunderstand. She's not mine, an adopted orphan." Jack's heart soared, then fell heavily. Luna was right. He had thought it was a child Luna had had behind his back. What a disappointment. It was in that moment that he realized he truly wished he had a child with Luna. Jack suddenly wanted to cry. What had he done? "Can I come visit you sometime? See the child?" Luna shook her head. "It's best not to. Otherwise, I'll have to move again. It would be too much trouble." Jack felt even more sorrowful. He suddenly felt very lonely. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to buy a house next to Luna and live there, but he knew he couldn't do that. He could only say goodbye to Luna. "Goodbye." Luna smiled faintly. "Wishing us both well. Let's not meet again." Luna left anyway. A week after Jack appeared, she left with the child. She was showing Jack, with her actions, to stop looking for her, to stop bothering her.